I'm gonna read out the NBA contract. Y'all tell me if that contract is worth it or not. So first one, Rudy Gobert, Utah Jazz, 5 years, $205 million extension. Scruff, starting with you, worth it or not, man?
It's worth it. It's worth it. Best defensive player in the league. You can argue. Locks down the post. Lockdown. You know, it's worth the money. You got a lead player. Yeah, it's worth the money. Quality contract.
Worth it or not, T?
Nah. Again, I'm not betting on or paying the Frenchman. This is a NBA about, you know what I'm saying, small balls, a lot of spacing. It's limited usage. You know what I'm saying? Gobert plays. He doesn't play enough minutes for me to say I'm going to pay you this huge deal. Yeah, he doesn't do anything offensively. Are the Jazz a better team with him? Probably. Will they win? No. I can lose with anybody. That's always been my philosophy. I can lose with anybody. So I'd rather try to build a winning team than pay a guy I know we're going to lose with. He's not selling jerseys either.
Chip, though. He just want to chip with AD though. You wouldn't want a guy like Gobert.
No, hold on. We're not about to compare Rudy Gobert to Anthony Davis. Like, that's blasphemy.
Yeah.
Anthony Davis' kids will be better than Rudy Gobert's kids too. Like, we're not about to compare those guys.
Yeah. But one thing I'll say though, the Jazz have been, they've been in the playoffs last couple of seasons with, Gobert leading the way. But I do feel you wrong. Worth it or not?
Hey man, I'm gonna say worth it. I'm gonna say worth it real quick. Our defense is kind of lost in the NBA. I think I'm glad a defensive guy got paid, man. People need to appreciate defensive players a little bit more in the NBA. So I'll definitely say worth it. And as far as T's comments on AD just now, man, I guess he's just getting too close to LeBron, man. Like he's getting some of that residual heat now, man.
No, I like AD. I like AD, but that's what I'm saying. It's blasphemy to compare somebody that has no offensive talent to a guy that does it all. We're not like, that's crazy. You pay AD. You don't pay.
It ain't comparing them. It's about matchups. You got to beat the best to be the best, And if you have, it's like when you have going against elite pass rushers in the NFL, you get good offensive line. You need defensive stoppers in the NBA,
Yes,
and
exactly.
People are saying that bigs are not part of the league anymore, but last time I checked, Anthony Davis is probably the best big in the league, and he won the chip last year, right? With a guy that's LeBron, who's 6'9". You're going to plow through the rim with LeBron 6'9". You don't get a guy that's going to be able to sit there and stop that, dude. There's plenty of bigs are still relevant, man.
Do you think LeBron wakes up going into a Jazz game worried about Rudy Gobert at the rim?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Probably not at all. He probably didn't think about it. But I think there's no doubt about it that Rudy Gobert is one of the best defenders in the league. So for that, I'm going to deem that one worth it. Let's keep it pushing.
Hold on. We can't keep pushing this shit. One of the best defenders in the league. How many blocks he average?
More than two?
Rudy Gobert.
Just two.
Rudy Gobert straps the paint, man. You know why? Because people don't drive on Rudy Gobert like that. It's one of those things, bro. He's in the game. You do, maybe not LeBron, but everybody's not LeBron, and you do got to be aware of Rudy Gobert when he's in the game. It's a fact.
Yeah, playing defense is definitely more about getting blocks or steals, in my personal opinion.
Rudy Gobert and Jared Allen are interchangeable, bro.
No, they're not. Rudy Gobert is a far better defender than Jared Allen, bro. Rudy Gobert, first of all, is 7'3". I mean, Jared Allen might be 7'1", but bro, Rudy Gobert has like a 7'9", 8'8", or 8'2" wingspan. He moves like he can get to the perimeter and guard 1 through 5. Not for long stretches, but for short stretches in the game. I've seen it happen. I've seen him switch off and be okay out on the perimeter. He can move. He's very nimble for that size that he has. I like Rudy Gobert, man. Let's not shit on Rudy Gobert too hard, bro. He's definitely one of the best defenders in the league, if not the best. And he's back-to-back defensive players of the year. You don't just get those on accident. I'm sorry, not maybe one on accident, but back-to-back, you don't get that on accident.
He gets my respect.
Let's get to some of these smaller contracts, but I don't know. It's still big money if you ask me. Luke Kennard, man, 4 years, $64 million, man. Just a week ago, the coach couldn't even recall his name. Now they're paying him 4 years, $64 million for the Clippers. Scruff, worth it or not?
Nah, not at all. That's just the going rate for guys that can shoot the ball. Lonzo Ball didn't get an extension. The name Luke Kennard being on the list when guys like Lonzo Ball, John Collins did not get extensions is the more notable reason why I'm saying nah. So nah.
Yeah, I feel like a part of that might be the guys like that want big time max dollars. You know what I'm saying? But you bring up a good point. How is this guy getting an extension? I don't know. It's a lot of money. 16 million a year almost. I think. That's a lot. Maybe 17. I don't know. But T, what you think, man?
I think I like it. The biggest problem is like you could have tried to pay Montrezl Harrell maybe to keep him, but you went with a scorer. You went with a guy that can play basketball. I like Luke Kennard's game. He's a guy you can't speed up, and to me, that's like the ultimate measure of a basketball player offensively. Like he does what he wants out there. So I like the deal. I think it gives him a good option going into the playoffs. And honestly, right, that's the type of guy that wins you big time playoff games. Like when you talk about LeBron making the right pass, which I don't think was the right pass, but you make the right pass to Luke Kennard. I'm trusting Luke Kennard. I'm not necessarily trusting Danny Green, but yeah, he's one of those types. You know what I'm saying? Luke Kennard and Danny Green. He's an essential role player, and to win, you have to have those guys. I'm paying him.
All right. Wrong. Luke Kennard worth it or not, man?
It's a nah for me, man. When you pay guys certain amounts of money, you got to look at the production. You got to look at the production, man. And does my man really give you enough production to say that I want to give you 64 over the next 4 years? No. I mean, and T, you make a good point on like, you pass him the ball, he might make the shot. He's there when you need him. He does the right things. Nice little role player or whatever. But is that worth this contract? I got to say nah.
Man, I didn't even know he was on the Clippers the whole time. Man, remember having to do like a Landry Shaman at league minimum contract. He's just as productive. You know what I mean? That's just me.
Nah, I don't know, man. You're making a good point there too, Scrub. I think this ridiculous money for Luke Kennard, in my opinion. I gotta go nah. I mean, we talking about a guy averaged 7 points in Detroit as a rookie, 9 points in next year.
Yeah.
He averaged 15 last season, but that was only in 28 games played. We talk about small sample size, very small sample size. And last year, averaging that 15 points, he did not shoot over 40% from three. I mean, you're getting 16 million. I'm expecting at least a 40% shooter if that's what you're kind of billed as. I like Luke Kennard's game. I think he has room to grow, but I mean, it's a lot of money for Luke Kennard, especially like you guys said, guys like John Collins not getting extended. It's tough. But, hey, they got money to go around in the league. So next, man, another guy that can shoot, at least coming out he can shoot. I don't know. He hasn't shown his offensive game too much recently. But Jonathan Isaac, 4 years, $80 million with the Orlando Magic. I'll start with this one. I got to go nah, man. I like Jonathan Isaac. I think there's another guy that they're banking on the potential with, that they see max player potential, and he just hasn't really just starting to scratch that surface. So if he reaches his potential, yes, he's already shown to be a solid defender on this level, but the offensive game just hasn't translated the way I thought it would. I thought this guy would be a nightmare coming out of Florida State. He just hasn't been that. Scruff, worth it or not?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Some things you just can't teach, bro. That's one thing I look for in a player. There's certain things you can't teach, man. And one thing you can't teach about Jonathan Isaac is having that length, 7+ foot wingspan, kid 6'11". He can play either forward spot. He shoots the ball well. He's a stretch player. He's lanky. He's built like Kevin Durant. He's built like Brandon Ingram. Much like Brandon Ingram, I think he's going to take a few years to develop into his best self. I think Orlando is a great place to grow. It's a great place to start, flourishing. And I think he'll eventually get there. I like the fact that Orlando is invested in their youth. But yeah, you can't teach 6'11" with a jumper like that. So I'm still holding out hope. And I think 23. Maybe you think if you think he's been in the league for a couple years, yeah. But the kid's only 23. I think give him like 2 more years to really keep flourishing, and I think he'll be potentially an all-star talent. I still got hope for the kid.
Okay. That's a slow grind though, man. To see all-star talent 2 years, that would be what, 5 years in the league by then. Man, I don't know if I see that happening. T, worth it or not?
It's worth it. You know why? Because a lot of people didn't see the potential in Giannis either when he came into the league. And I'm gonna tell you something about Jonathan Isaac. I just took scruff line. Jonathan Isaac averages more blocks and more steals than Rudy Gobert, and you guys are mentioning him, as a potential defensive player of the year. This guy can defend. He's 6'11", like Scruff said, man. Long arm, plays either forward. He can defend multiple positions. I would say he's more versatile of a defender than Rudy. So I'm a little confused at why you don't want to pay the guy. I'm going to pay the guy and try to see if I can build my franchise around him. I'm going to roll the dice on him over locking in a 7-foot Frenchman.
Yeah, I feel that. I mean, maybe it's the 11 points, or maybe it's just the 6 rebounds at 6'11". I don't know. Maybe it's those things that why I'm not super sold on Jonathan Isaac yet. But Rome, worth it or not?
I'm kind of torn. I want to say nah, but like I said earlier, I like it when defensive guys get paid. I feel like he still needs to show more on the offensive side. You guys kind of just alluded to that. He hasn't really reached his potential on the offensive side. But as far as a defender, man, he's been solid. So I like the idea of defensive guys getting paid in the NBA. What the problem is, man, is the NBA, you got to score. So with a contract like that, you got to start putting up points. Will he? You know what I mean? Will he reach that potential? Like it's nice to say he's in his 4th year now. So I mean, it's time. It's time. You know what I mean? Like this is the year to start showing me something.
Rudy averages 13 points. I don't get it. Rudy averages.
All right, then you got to be more dominant on defense. All right.
No, Rudy averages 15. I'm lying. He averages about 15 and 13. So you're right. You're right, Bryce.
How many rebounds he averaged?
He averaged 13 and a half off the top of my head. So 15 and 13.
So,
15 and 13.
So did Andre Drummond, but he's worth peanuts in the league for some reason. So
that's because we don't need centers anymore.
No, that's because Drummond doesn't always play within himself either. Rudy Gobert always plays within himself, man. You don't even notice he's out there sometimes, but he's getting 13, 14 rebounds every time. Sometimes you don't even know he's out there because he comes. Sometimes with those big guys, when they're doing too much, it sticks out like a sore thumb. Right? How often do you see that happening to Gobert, man? Not too often. But keeping it pushing, man. Next one. OG Anunoby. I'll start with this one again, man. OG Anunoby with 4 years, $72 million to stick with the Raptors. That is worth it to me. I've been a big OG fan since his Indiana days. I was torn up when he tore up his knee, man. Yeah, that was my guy, Indiana. I was just sure that he was going to be a dog. That set him back a little bit. Had an injury in the league as well, set him back a little bit. But I think we saw in the big moments, man, last season in the bubble, he hit that clutch shot. That was worth something. That shot alone was going to get him paid. So I do think that OG Anunoby's worth it. Huge ceiling and an extremely high floor. As high as the ceiling is, his floor is just as high. So, well, not just as high, but his floor is extremely high. So I like that a lot about OG. Scruff, worth it or not?
Not really my cup of tea. I'll pass on him. He's a decent player, man. I can see that. I just don't see the upside that I see in like a guy like an Isaac. So, no for me.
Okay, I respect that. I see more upside in the OG, but maybe that's me. Maybe I'm just kind of high on this guy. T, worth it or not?
I mean, I'm gonna say yeah. I mean, the guy averages something like 10 and 5, man. So it's similar to the Luke Kennard deal. He's a glue guy, but I think his value to that franchise is worth that contract. So I'm gonna say yeah. I don't know if he turns into a supermax player ever, but he's valuable, and you pay a guy what he's worth to your team, what he's worth to your fan base sometimes. So good, shout out to OG, man, the British Nigerian.
That's a great about as good as Jay Crowder in his career.
But I think he made a great point. Yo, when you say you pay a guy what he's worth to your team, I think that is very, very key right there, man. Sometimes you see guys get paid and it looks crazy, but the deal ends up working for that team. And then that same guy goes to a different spot and it don't work out because that just wasn't his spot to shine at,
Yeah.
So great point with that. Wrong. OG Anunoby, worth it or not?
Man, T kind of just made the be all end all point, man. You pay the guy what he's worth for your team, bro. So I honestly got to say worth it based off that alone, right? Like I personally don't like what I see. Like I want to say nah, but like he fits with this team. Like the reason that he's getting this contract is based off what he's done with this team. I don't know if he gets this contract on another team, so I can't say that it's not worth it if he has continued success with Toronto. So I'm gonna say worth it.
I'm gonna add a quick little point, right? You know, you have a smaller market. Toronto isn't it's not a small market, but it's like a medium market. It's not LA or New York, Miami maybe, but I feel like when you reward like those teams that aren't in the big markets, when you reward guys for playing good and being good players, being good guys on and off the floor, that's how you can help get free agents, right? So that means you can come in and just do your job and make a way for your family. And I think that means a lot, you know what I'm saying? So that's potentially Toronto can get the next good free agent based off, all right, well, we know they take care of their people. Similar to the Mavericks. You know Mark Cuban's going to take care of you.
I mean, that really goes across all sports, man. I think more franchises should look at it in that way. Pay that homegrown talent, man. Pay those guys that have been rocking on your team.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more with those. I couldn't agree more with any of those, man. I feel like that's where sport, at least that's where the NBA got to get back to, because a team that's been together, that knows each other, that all came up together, they're eventually gonna start these super teams that just get put together in a year or two. And once that happens, you guys know how it's a copycat league, man. Everyone will start trying to build a team all of a sudden. So we'll see that. We'll see that circle come back around. Last one, guys, and this one, this one brings a smile to my face to get to say it, man. This guy's been through a lot. Markelle Fultz with the Orlando Magic, getting 3 years, $50 million. Proud of him, man. Definitely worth it if you ask me. Scruff, worth it or not?
It's 100% worth it. It's the best. It's the best signing of the bunch, and I'll tell you why. Some people are late bloomers. Markelle Fultz is one of those guys. Some people are guys that shrivel up into adversity and never bounce back. Markelle's not one of those guys. Markelle's not a spotlight guy. He's in the perfect situation when he was brought into Orlando. He had a really rough go in Philly. I'm not saying Philly fans was rough to him. Philly fans gave this man more rope than they've ever given a man ever. Period. So, like, it wasn't on Philly fans. It was just a rough go for the kid. The kid basically forgot how to shoot. Now, with that being said, even without being able to shoot, he was still able to put a triple-double together in his first career season, just to show you his talent. So that's the thing. You can't teach certain things. What you can't teach about Markelle Fultz is his size, his speed, the way he can attack the basket, the way his basketball IQ, the way he makes the whole offense run. When you get him a guy like that on the court, the whole offense moves because he attacks the basket and the defense goes with him. Quality player. I think he's a starting NBA point guard. I like him better than Lonzo Ball on draft night. And even though Lonzo Ball had a better start to his career, I could say that they're probably on the same level now. And I'd say he's right up there. I still think he has the best chance to be the best point guard in that draft class. I'd say De'Aaron Fox is that guy right now still. But I'd say Markelle Fultz is right there behind him. I like Orlando locking up the young talent. I like Markelle Fultz. I like Jonathan Isaac. I'm happy. I'm really happy about this move. I think he'll have a big year this year.
Okay. What draft class was that? You said that was Markelle, and who else was in that draft class?
Markelle, Lonzo, De'Aaron Fox. That was also the same year as Jason Tatum.
I don't think that was Lonzo though. I think that was De'Aaron Fox. Though. Okay, yeah. So I think
Lonzo, De'Aaron Fox, Markelle, same draft.
So was Trae Young in that draft?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. I'm tripping. Well, yeah. I think you bring up some good points though, man. Markelle was definitely a late bloomer, and sometimes it be like that. T, worth it or not?
It's worth it, man. It's actually a genius deal, and this is how franchises really pull themselves out of the bottom. Like your young talent, the guys, you know what I'm saying? The guys you draft, and then the guys you bring in. They bring them in as a young player, and 3 years is the perfect amount of time to know what Markelle is going to be. And shout out to him for getting paid because, like you said, in Philly, man, he had a lot of things going on. He figured it out in Orlando, and he's now starting to become the guy he's going to be. But at the same time, they didn't draft Cole Anthony for no reason. So with that being said, it really makes perfect sense, right? Because Cole's on a rookie contract. By the time you understand exactly who Markel is, you're going to know if it's time to pay Cole. And you're betting on one of them, right? So if Cole develops, great. If Markel develops, great. If they both develop, you have two super dynamic guards that can do everything you want on offense. Then you just locked up your defender, Isaac. I mean, I think Orlando is 3 or 4 years away from being in contention talk. Maybe not a title run, but being in contention talk. I like what they're doing down there. Florida's a fun state, so I like it. I like it. Pay the guy. Shout out to him. He's from the crib.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Wrong. Worth it or not?
Man, this is an easy one, man. This is definitely worth it. I honestly think they got him on a deal. I mean, if you look at what they're paying him, if he reaches his potential, they got a good little deal here, man. And T really just alluded to the inner workings of how they could make this work out, man. So this is the easiest one on the list, man. This is definitely worth it.
All right, yeah. All right. I think we all in agreement on that one, man. Markel Fultz, shout out to the kid, man. Philly tried to ruin his shot. Philly fans talking about he forgot how to shoot after they tried to ruin him. But
actually, I'm going to clear the air on that. It was actually an AAU trainer, apparently from around y'all way, that fucked his shot up. So don't try blaming it on us. He was just fine during the summer league.